Hello, this is Jody King Colegrove with Quantum Techniques, the most comprehensive form of diagnostic energy medicine in the world today. If you're getting this video, there's a chance that we have just finished a call and we have worked together and found out why you're having some health issues and what you can do about it. So a lot of times people ask, okay, now what? What do I do now? And so I'm hoping this video will help answer some of those questions. Because there may have been things that you thought of after our call that you're like, oh, I wish I would have asked. So I want to kind of help answer some of those. So the first thing is, what do I do now? The most important thing is to stay off of the foods or the products that your body told us during that session that was not good for you and not allowing you to heal. And that's really important because those kind of things can, if you continue to use them, will put you back where you were. And so it's important to say, okay, whether it's shampoos or deodorants or whatever we found, essential oils, to package those up and put them in a plastic bag, put them in an area that's far away from where you sleep, underneath the sink, and we'll just wait and see if after your body heals and it's able to detox and get back its health, whether you can have those products again or whether it's best to stay off of them. And if it's best to stay off of them, then you could donate them to friends and family or women's shelter or something like that so that they're not gone to waste. But they're not good for you, so it's good not to have those. And everybody is different, so something that some person can have is good and others not. And like I said, if you get, maybe your daughter or son can have the product, but maybe you can't even have the smell in the house. So it's important that we find those things out. All right, so that's the first thing. The next thing is to accept the truths. In other words, there may have come some things out in our session that may be sometimes hard to hear, but it's worth taking a look at. And to also, we say, try something for about 6 weeks. See if it works for you. Make a change. One of my favorite quotes is, if you keep doing the same thing you're doing, expecting a different result, that's the definition of insanity. And I've been there. So it's important to say, hey, let's just try something. Let's try it, see if it changes. If it doesn't, then you can go back and do, what you were doing. But for this time, let's see if we can make a difference on your health. The next thing is to read the code as prescribed. In other words, we found out we gave you a code, and then we found out how many times you should read it morning and night, or just in the morning. Or at night. And so, but to read it as prescribed, and that's really important. And so put it in a place that you can remember, and that could be, on your mirror. It could be in your medicine cabinet, but someplace where you see it every day. It could be, on your alarm clock as you go to bed or wake up in the morning. You can never overread a code. So let's say that you don't feel good, or if you're not sure if it's being effective enough, you can always read some more. We also have universal codes in the manuals that you received, and they could be for, let's say, jet lag, or they could be for muscle pain or something like that. You can always read those, and they will not hurt the body if you read them. So you can not, hurt yourself by reading those along with the code that we gave you. The next thing is to learn how to self-test, and our Truth Techniques teaches you the correct way to muscle test so that you get all the information that your body needs. And and you can also find if you're blocked, it will help you find what may be blocking your testing. So in other words, if you have a hard time learning how to muscle test, you can give us a call and we can find out what is blocking you. And that usually doesn't take very long. It's usually both, maybe sometimes a physical issue, a non-physical issue, and we can clear that so that you can really start working on learning how to muscle test, because that empowers you to know, hey, is this good for me or is that bad for me? And so you can find out the truth of what's best for you by learning how to do that. So what if you feel good after the session and then you start feeling bad? There's several things that happen here. Typically, if someone doesn't have a die-off reaction, which can make you feel bad, then typically you've encountered something. So sometimes people will feel good, let's say right away, and if they feel good for 2 or 3 days, then that's typically that the code is doing fine. And then if you start not feeling good after about 2 or 3 days, then there's a chance you've encountered some kind of a toxin. So it could be something you ate. It could be that you got a really heavy whiff of something like perfume or essential oils at work or something like that. usually 95% of the time it's something physical, like I said, something you ate or a smell of something, or you could have gotten a virus, from your mate or something like that. So there's always some, issue that may have come up. Now that's something that we can clear really easily. So your first session is always your longest section because we're diagnosticing what's going on in your body and giving you a code. When you call back and say, okay, well, I'm not quite feeling the way I did, we can go in and find out within about 8 minutes or so exactly what's not online, what knocked you offline, and then put you back online. So it's real quick. And then you go back to feeling good again. If you happen to not feel good a couple hours after our session, then there's a chance that you're detoxing. Now, typically, we try to remember to ask, do you need an energy shield on a code? And so we ask, okay, does it need to be 10% or 95% so that your code doesn't go through too quickly to help you detox? And everybody has a little bit different body. Some people detox well, some people don't. And so that's one thing that we find when we're working with you and how your body reacts. So again, if you don't feel good within a couple hours, you just call us back and we can put an energy shield on that code and then it's back up and working again. So that's really easy to do also and doesn't take very long. All right, let's see what else we got here. Okay, so unless you get into some deep emotional work when we're doing a session, typical sessions, or like I said, first sessions are always the longest because we're finding out what's going on in your body with all these different fields that we have. After that, most sessions last somewhere between 8, 15, or 20 minutes, unless you're getting into some deep emotional field. And then sometimes it's very deep and we have to do a lot of clearing of those issues at different tissue levels. And it's not, a big thing, but it might take a little longer than that. Okay. So when do you know when to call back? So after our first session, and if you're still feeling great and you didn't get knocked off by a toxin or something like that, then there's really no set time. It's just when you feel that you want to work some more on either another issue or the original issue has the symptoms that have diminished or gone away significantly, or gone down a lot, and you want to maybe feel like there's another little layer underneath there that you want to work on. So that's something that when you would want to call back. Or I've had people say, hey, that really worked. My cat needs something now. So, or my child, I really like to work on them, or, my husband could use this. And so there's, it's always one of those things. Now, the next time you call back, you do not have to fill out a whole history form again. Now, if you are working with maybe your, with your husband or your son, or a child, something like that, that you might want to fill out, another history form because you're working for a different person. But for you, it's just a matter of calling back and saying, hey, this is something else I want to work on. So if that happens, what you would do is, let's see here. You would just send me an email and say, this is just short email and these are the things that I would like to work on. And then we can set a prescribed time to do a call during my on-call hours. And then if we set up a time through email, then you would call at that time and then I would call you back and we would do the session. And so that's kind of how it works after this. But again, there's no prescribed set time for working on issues. A lot of times, if you, let's say, go to the chiropractor and you've had a car accident, they say, okay, we're probably going to need to see you maybe 5 times to work on these things. Sometimes there are times like that. If we're doing like a series of scans that we have where we have to clear some layers, your body will tell us, hey, it needs to work on the next layer in 10 days or in another week or something like that, and we'll let you know that. But there usually typically is not a prescribed time to work on things. All right, let's see what we got next. So if you have sensed that a treatment code has lost its effectiveness, and I'm always surprised that you a lot of times just know, and that's why we're working with energy. And so you go, I just don't think this is working. I think maybe last Thursday it kind of fell off, and it's amazing. I'll muscle test and find out, yep, that's kind of when you lost it in the afternoon, and this is why. And I think that really helps people to know, again, why this is happening, why it's not having effectiveness, so you can start learning how your environment and your body reacts to things. So again, you just you can, send us an email and find out what's going on. If you do have, an emergency or things like that, you just can call right away on our call hours. And we usually have people, not 24/7, but we have people in different time zones on call at different times. And so there's a majority of the times that you can get a hold of a quantum technique practitioner. And it's always important to say, hey, I worked with such and such yesterday or, last week, and I can't get a hold of her, and this is what I'm working on. And that really helps us all kind of communicate as practitioners together to know, what you're dealing with and what's going on. All right. So some more commonly asked questions are, how many sessions do I need? And I kind of went into that a little bit, but everybody unwraps and layers in a different way. And so there's a chance that some people deal with detox, like we talked about. Others have pathogens or are living with a lot of emotional upheaval in their lives. And so it may take several sessions. Other people, if it's just a simple thing, then it's easy to clear. And you don't need as many sessions. So it really depends on what the situation is and what you're dealing with. So we do say to follow the recommendations on diet and your personal products and cleaning products that we said that were not good for your body, and that will help you keep your code. And what you're doing is you're cleaning yourself up physically so that your body's God-given ability to heal itself can start and doing its job. So that is what we're doing. So our intention at Quantum Techniques is to help you learn how to have health and happiness. And we are your coach to help you diagnostic what's going on. I always kind of say we're kind of like detectives and find out what's going on. And we're holding a sacred space for you to heal. In other words, we want to be that place where you feel safe, secure, and you feel like you kind of got some loving arms around you to help you heal. And that is our intent with Quantum Techniques. So welcome to Quantum Techniques, and it's time to start your healing journey together. So I hope this has helped answer a lot of your questions, and I look forward to working with you again. So blessings from Quantum Techniques.